Hey, look, I'm getting Matt Moscona a little bit of a reaction. We're at a dance club. It's called SEC Media Days.
Oh, man, I was in Vegas last week, and you couldn't go into any club in Vegas without hearing a little Old Town Road.
Okay. I was in Vegas a couple of weeks ago. My wife had a conference out, and, being a sports nut, like, let me tell you what I did, okay?
All right.
I'm not a huge gambler because I realize they don't build those buildings losing money. Hey, why don't I formally introduce you first?
Hey.
Matt Moscona, ESPN 104.5 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, LSU Day. So we always have a chance to catch up with Matt. But I was out there, and I wanted to go to all the different sports books, and I just collected, like, sheets and paper of the actual, like, lines.
Oh, the lines, yeah.
Oh, it was amazing.
Did you bet?
No, I didn't cast one bet because, I mean, I'm not going to put $100 on an 18, 19-year-old kid running up and down the sidelines. It's just
it can be fun. Add some intrigue to it. But I went to Vegas for the UFC fights last weekend. UFC 239, John Jones and Thiago Santos. It was an awesome show. But in the 4 days that I was in Las Vegas, I bet $1. I put $1 in a slot machine at the airport on my way home. I was like, I can't come to Vegas without betting anything. So I put $1 in a slot machine, lost, and went about my way. I don't gamble, but I was fired up to go to Vegas. Would you pull them? Let me see. How many you got? All right, let's see. What we got?
You got a bunch of stuff.
All right, whose odds do you like best, Ryan Fowler?
Well,
let's see. I mean, the Cosmopolitan, these look really good. Win totals, Alabama win total. What are we looking at here?
11.5. Depends on where you went.
Oh, this is the odds to win the championship. Forgive me. So they're currently at 12-5. So not great odds there for you, man. You're just not going to win a bunch of money if you bet the Tide to win the title.
There's no value in Alabama.
No value.
No value. But I mean,
what about the Tigers? You got 15-1 on LSU. What you got?
Well, and I'm starting to. Now hold on. Here we go. I mean, I actually traveled back with these. I mean, I know that's LSU. They're a plus 3,000
wow.
to win the national title. Plus 3,000. Would you? I mean,
I'd put 100 on that.
Oh yeah, I mean you'd be
wasting money, but I like the potential payout. If here's my scenario for LSU, because I don't think they're winning in Tuscaloosa. With Tua back, that game on the road, I don't think LSU wins that game this year. So here's my scenario. The absolute best case. This is not my prediction, but this is a best case scenario for LSU. You win at Texas. You beat.
Please beat Texas.
You beat them.
Please. I'm so tired of their stupid, arrogant attitude. Like, please.
Coming from an Alabama guy?
Matt, I want LSU to go and embarrass the Longhorns, okay? Please.
That would be nice.
Well, and I know the bad blood between Coach O and but I want Coach O to take his Tigers and absolutely destroy them. Sorry, I didn't mean
but you're about as passionate about that game as LSU fans are because of the Tom Herman angle. A lot of people outside of Baton Rouge and Austin aren't going to understand that, but that is a major underlying factor in that game is the fact that Tom Herman was basically the LSU coach and then spurned him at the last minute. But if LSU can win that game, if they can beat Auburn, Florida, and A&M all at home, lose to Bama, go 11-1, close road loss to Alabama, and if you have a 2-loss Pac-12, Big 12 champion, then LSU is a 1-loss team without playing in the SEC championship game, go to the playoff. We saw Alabama do it 2 years ago and win a national title. So if there's a path for LSU, I think that's it because I don't think they're going to Tuscaloosa and winning.
All right. So let's talk about that scenario because that's one that, which you're the one that connected us. And let me sort of connect my audience here. Okay, it's one of our favorite guests every single week. We feature Mike Detillier.
Yeah.
Mike is awesome. You're the one that told me, and we do this in radio when we say, hey, he's got a great guest. Matt Moscona actually hooked us up with Mike Detillier, and we have been featured Mike every single week. He's one of our favorites.
Yep.
And we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, the same scenario. How likely is that? Do you think this team can go 11-1? Do you think they can get – is there enough talent there to get the job done to get to 11-1?
So, I guess it depends. Maybe it's semantics, but can they? Sure, Ryan, like they're going to be favored in every game except the Alabama game. I think early line on the Texas game was LSU -7. It's maybe down around 3 or 4. We'll see what it is at kickoff. But they're going to be favored in every other game this year. Remember that they're rotating cross-divisional. Georgia rotated off. Vanderbilt rotates on. So LSU goes to Vanderbilt, the Mississippi schools, and Arkansas this year. I mean, it's manageable, right? I mean, Arkansas comes to LSU. LSU goes to Alabama, obviously. So but my point is, it's a manageable road schedule for LSU this year. It's a manageable schedule top to bottom. I just, it's hard for me to believe that with a new concept offensively, with a suspect offensive line, I still think you're thin on the D line. And look, Cole Tracy was a massive weapon for LSU last year at place kicker, and he's gone. And so you have a true freshman who's going to be kicking for you, so that's an unknown. It's just hard for me to think that you're not going to have a slip up anywhere. The Auburn game, the Florida game, the Texas game, the A&M game. Like, there's so many opportunities where if on that day you don't play your best, you can lose. And it's they're probably going to have another slip and fall somewhere along the way.
All right, let's talk about long term, because when we try to project who's going to be, because we see Alabama, as much as we talk about 11-1, Alabama needs somebody to be really, really good in the SEC West, or somebody on their schedule. You want to get pushed around before Clemson. Yeah. Or before the SEC title. Like, you don't want to get there, and at halftime, you're getting exposed, and there's nothing you can do about it. You want to get exposed in October and November where you can correct those mistakes and go, oh, we're more vulnerable here, but we didn't know that we were vulnerable.
Yeah.
As Nick Saban walked in the halftime speech, he goes, hey, they're doing things we've never seen. We're not even coached to do this. And some of that's coaching fault. Nick Saban, probably one of the worst coaching jobs I've ever seen, getting that team ready in Santa Clara. Yeah. They were not ready to play that game. Awful. And probably Nick Saban would probably tell you the same exact thing.
Well, it's not been often in his career he's had those types of moments. But I guess everybody has their comeuppance at some point. But Clemson was really good. I guess you're asking if LSU could be that team, a roundabout way to maybe challenge Alabama. They could, Ryan. I mean, the thing about LSU is there's always so much talent at the skill positions and in the secondary, right? I mean, you look at last year in the first week one of the NFL, there were more LSU players on NFL rosters than any other team. I mean, they keep churning out guys to the league, but they're churning out defensive backs, and they're churning out linebackers and running backs and receivers, and it's not the men in the middle. Like, the reason Clemson was so dominant is because they had 3 defensive linemen that were taken in the first round of the draft. I mean, that was LSU at one point when they had Glenn Dorsey and they had Drake Nevis and they had Sam Montgomery and Barkevius Mingo and Benny Logan, and they don't have those guys right now. Now Ed Orgeron is trying to rebuild that. I mean, that's after Alabama shut out LSU in Baton Rouge last year, Ed in his post-game press conference said, we have got to be better on the line of scrimmage. I have to recruit better linemen. And a lot of LSU fans didn't like that because it sounded like he was calling out players. In some respect he was, but at the same time, it was true. That's where the gap has widened, and I don't think LSU's ready yet to compete at that level with Alabama.
All right, but long term,
they're heading there.
Do you think LSU can be, and I hope your audience doesn't hear this, Alabama long term, we think that number one, let's say that they stay there, because everybody's looking at these 3 programs, Texas A&M, Auburn, and LSU. Mm-hmm. Who's going to be that 1B, number 2 spot? Texas A&M's got the money. They're dumping money into their facilities. They're paying Jimbo Fisher. Who would you bet on? I don't think it's Auburn. I think Auburn's fixing to drift away. They could really slide to that 4th spot easy.
So Auburn unsettled at quarterback, brutal schedule. I think it's plausible to think if Auburn goes 8-4 this year, they run Gus. I don't know enough of the inner workings of that program. Maybe not, but it feels like something that could happen this year. He always seems to be, fighting for his job. I think if you made me pick of those, I would pick A&M for the reasons you mentioned. They've got a coach that's won a national title. He recruits like mad, and he's got all the resources in College Station. And they finally seem like they're stable enough and ready to build on the foundation. Now, I don't know that's going to happen this year because of that schedule where you've got to play Georgia, LSU, Alabama, Clemson, and you're playing 3 of those 4 away from home. Brother, good luck. I mean, A&M may be one of those teams that's better this year but goes 8-4. And maybe it takes 2020 before they're really ready to start competing to win the West. But if you ask me over the next, 5 years, if you ask me who in 5 years is most likely to be challenging Alabama, I would say Texas A&M.
See, you have a lot of people, and Coach O has been on a couple of different times, and it's just something. Let me tell you what we see. We see a connection that Coach O gets something out of his players. Like there's a bond there. He gets. Look at it this time last year. One of the hottest seats in college football. He rallied the troops, and that team played their butt off for him.
So here's my question. we know that Ed Ogeron is a great interim head coach, right? He was fantastic at SC. He did a great job at LSU. Same. Last year, when they faced adversity and the expectations were super low, he exceeded them. Are we finding out that maybe Ed is just at his best when he's facing adversity and he's not a great front runner? I mean, maybe that's the case, Ryan. Like maybe like this year will be very telling because LSU's going to go into this year as a preseason top 10. If not top 10, they'll be right there, right? 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. Maybe they'll be 7 or 8, depends on. I think Phil Steele's got him at 7. They're going to be in that mix. And everybody's going to be picking you to win a lot of games this year. It's the complete opposite of a year ago. So how do you handle expectation? I mean, that matters. That was the Houston Nutt thing. Houston Nutt seemed like they were trying to fire him at Arkansas every year, and whenever he'd win 7 games, and then he's fighting for his job, and he'd come up and he'd make it to Atlanta. I mean, and then he's got Darren McFadden and Felix Jones, and they go 7-5, and then he fire him. So it's like, every coach I think just has different strengths in that respect, and maybe we'll learn it. This will be very telling for Ed in that respect to see, okay, is he a guy that can handle expectations and be a front runner?
All right, 3 minutes because I know we've got to get to another interview coming up in a couple of seconds here. Georgia, you look at Georgia, and I tell this all the time. You don't get a chance to beat Nick Saban. They had a chance. They had Nick Saban on the mat twice in the same year. Once in a national championship game, once in an SEC championship game. If I'm a Georgia fan, I'm looking at that going, when are we ever going to beat Nick Saban? You don't get those opportunities to have him on the ground and you pull out a stupid fake punt or you pull out some kind of coaching blunder. Yeah, you're going to learn from those, but you don't get those opportunities every single year.
So I would agree. My question is there a team in the East that looks ready to jump up and challenge them?
There's not.
Maybe Florida this year. So Florida's one of those teams where you look and you go, okay, Franks is back. And not many people are high on Franks. But, Ryan, this is a guy who threw for 24 touchdowns and 6 picks last year. Coming off a tough freshman year, he certainly improved last year. Let's see what he does this year. Second year under Mullen. P. Ryan's back. Basically, everybody is back for Florida except they got to replace 4 offensive linemen. Now, that's massive. I'm not trying to minimize that. But maybe Florida is the team that come October, whenever they play Georgia, is the one that's ready to beat Georgia and carry on to the SEC championship game and challenge Alabama. Maybe it's Florida. And this would be a team that might be able to do that. But Georgia seems like they're – I agree with your premise. You don't get the opportunities much. When you get them, make the most of them.
Yes or no in 30 seconds. Is what Alabama and Clemson is doing currently good for the game? Because you're in a college town. You're in Baton Rouge. ESPN 104.5, Matt Moscona here. In 30 seconds, what Alabama and Clemson is doing currently, is it good for the game?
No, I think people are bored with it. And I'm not opposed to dynasties because I think dynasties are good. But at some point there has to at least be the threat that someone can challenge it. And it doesn't feel like that exists right now in college football.
Okay. That's why I went with you, because I wanted a straight answer. Because you're a college town. You're a passionate college town.
That doesn't mean people are going to stop watching their team's games.
No.
But if you're saying about growing the game of college football and being appealing to different markets and geographical areas of the country, I mean, the 2 teams in the Deep South in small college towns dominating every year ain't going to do it.
Matt Moscona, ESPN 104.5. Big thanks to you, Matt. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Ryan.